You need
All
to
right.
request. You need to request allowing me to record or us to record too.
Okay.
It won't let me. It won't let me record. I'm just saying. It won't let me record.
All right.
Ask the host.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is a hello. We've already kind of done a hello, but we're gonna do it again. And we're super excited. We're bummed that we're not live with you guys, but that doesn't mean it won't be just as exciting. And why don't we go around and introduce our guest, where we kind of know who the four of us are. You've seen us. We're welcome home. And we're going to introduce our guest, and we'll start with you, sir, up in the corner, in my corner. I don't know where you are on the screen on your computer, but InQ. Yes.
Yeah. In the Brady Bunch, he'd be the top left.
Yeah, that's too much figuring, guys.
Yeah, my name is InQ, and that's short for In Question, and I'm a poet and a songwriter, and I'm a friend of Welcome Home, and really happy to be here.
Very cool. And next.
I'm Trevor.
I'm Nina.
And we're part of Fort Vine. And we played a show with Welcome Home on our tour. That was, I can't even remember.
Many moons ago.
Many moons.
A while ago.
Yeah, and so we had a connection. It was a real good, positive vibe that night between our music and Welcome Home's music. And
Yeah, that was a
good.
fun night.
I'm glad Angelo has kept in touch with us.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so we're going to start this interview off with InQ, and I'm going to give you a little bit of just my background with InQ. I met InQ many moons ago, and we had all kinds of dreams and all kinds of aspirations and frustrations and different things. And I met him through my brother Poetry and the Poetry Lounge, which if you all have not been to the Poetry Lounge, you should. And if you've not Googled just some of the amazing, not just entertainment or performers who have come out of there, but just amazing human beings. And InQ is one of those human beings. He's always had a heart. He's always been available, and he did not turn Hollywood at all, which is so wonderful. And I'm so excited that I get to talk to him and that we get to spend some time with him, and you know, it's just exciting. So
Welcome to the living room.
yeah. So InQ, how are you doing during all of this time?
I'm good. I think I'm taking it moment by moment, day by day, like everybody is. First of all, D, I absolutely love you. And yeah, we have shared so many memories together. And so, you know, it's interesting. Past, future, present, just the never-ending now. And here we are, and I feel honored to share this moment with you and with everyone else that's on this Zoom and anyone else that's listening, no matter where you are. I hope you're happy and healthy under the circumstances. And yeah, look, this is my philosophy on the whole thing. I think for a person to make systemic change, they usually have to face some sort of a trauma. And it's something that kind of wakes them up and shakes them up out of their normal routine and maybe allows themselves to see their life from a different perspective. And during that window of time, they have an opportunity. And if they truly look themselves in the mirror, they can make change that will last for the rest of their lives. And if they don't, and they fall back asleep again, they might not get another opportunity for 20 years. And I think that an individual is like a collective, and this is our collective trauma, and it's also our collective opportunity. I don't think that the virus has brought up anything that didn't already exist in society. Systemic racism, inequality, the healthcare system, leadership or lack thereof from our politicians. And so I'm trying to do that personally. I'm trying to look around and see what's working for me and see what's not working for me, and think of how I can evolve for myself, for those in my immediate vicinity, my family, my community, and also for America and humanity at large. And that sounds lofty, but I believe that, because I think You know, like the virus in the end is not an existential threat to humanity. I mean, there's so much pain and suffering that's out there, but there will be some sort of a vaccine that's created and there will be an end to this. But if we fall asleep again as a society, you know, I think we are going to wake up to unfathomable division and the existential threat of climate change. You're not going to be able to have a vaccine for the polar ice caps melting. And so this is just something that I'm thinking about on a daily basis and trying to remind myself to go deeper and to try to do the work.
Yeah, I hear that. I was talking last week about the permafrost being melting out in Russia.
Yeah.
What a threat that is, you know. So I like how you put that. We've been asleep. I haven't heard that quite put that way yet, and it's 100% true. So
yeah, it's kind of like you know, consumerism. I'm a consumer. I actually have a product. Actually, I have my book. You know, I want people to buy my book, even though the poetry came from my soul.
Yeah.
It's a product that I'm putting out into the world. So I can't like judge consumerism like I'm not a part of it. But this thing slowed consumerism to a halt. And when you can't spend $1 and you can't make $1 as easily, you have time and space to actually go, well, is this working for me? And what you're seeing in the streets right now is it's not working for so many people.
yeah,
And it's not something that we can ignore anymore because capitalism or unconscious capitalism isn't pushing us towards the next distraction. So that's why we've been asleep, because we're just like kind of blindly going to the next stimulus or, you know, the next sporting event or the next concert or the next, and all of these things are amazing unless they're distracting ourselves from ourselves, you know?
I have a question for you off of all of that. I remember a conversation that I had with you years ago, and we were talking basically about, you said something about, I know this, like, this is what I want to do, but like that whole thing of how do I make a living doing what I want to do, and my ideas, and like just who you are as a person and how that connected with spoken word. And we were talking about just how to take that to the next level as not just the job, me working a job so that I can do my passion, but actually me living out, like you're saying, who I'm supposed to be. So if somebody was out there who was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever, and they were trying to figure out, they were having that conversation we had, what would you tell them now, having done what you've done? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what you've done, which has been incredible, but what would you tell them?
Well, personally, you know, I had a very specific image of how I wanted my life to be. And in many ways, that was the fuel source that I used to be obsessed with my craft. And I would not be where I am had I not been obsessed. I mean, I probably put in, you know, 25, 30,000 hours or something like that. And part of that came from insecurity, a need for validation, desperation, all of those things. And at a certain point, I had to very consciously change my fuel source, because what got you here won't get you there. But what I will say is holding on so tightly to your idea of yourself can become just as much of a prison as someone else's 9 to 5. I think a lot of times we have dreams and we decide that this is who we are. This is what our life purpose is. And then we pursue that thing and we never check back in to go, do I still love this? Am I still enthusiastic about this? Am I still passionate about it? Is this where I want to put my love, put my fear, put my anger, put my hope? And so I try to give myself the freedom to re-choose what it is that I'm doing for a living every day. You know, and what I'll say is me strangling life into doing what I wanted it to do for so many years didn't work. And I had to learn to let go. And instead of fighting upstream, I had to kind of like just float down the river and see where it wanted me to go. And that didn't mean that I let go of my dreams. It meant that I stopped suffocating them. So I would say, go after the thing that you're passionate about. Do it with every single cell in your body. But also allow yourself the freedom to be someone new on a moment-to-moment basis, because that's how you'll discover who you're becoming. And that is the best art. The best art comes from discovery. It comes from evolution. And that only happens from staying present to what's happening, not what you want to happen.
I love that. I love
I'm
that.
inspired to like sit down and write a song right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I like the way you put words together, man. They're beautiful. So.
Thanks, man.
So now tell us, I mean, your introduction was the most humble thing I've ever heard in my life, which is a wonderful quality, and that's why I love you. But like, give us a little bit about who you are, what you've done, what you've experienced, maybe what were some of your best, or not best, but like your most, actually, yes. What were some of what people would consider your biggest experiences? And at the same time, what were the most meaningful to you?
Well, like if someone reads my bio, I want to like hide under a desk or something like that. It's so boring. You know, it's like I know I did those things, but somehow I don't feel ownership over them, or almost like I was observing myself while I was there. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but yeah, I mean, I am a multi-platinum and gold songwriter. I've written like songs for Selena Gomez and Miley Cyrus and Aloe Black and Foster the People, and probably 50 Disney television songs over the years. And I've been on HBO's Def Poetry Jam as a poet and won the National Poetry Slam Championships. I was the first poet to perform with Cirque du Soleil live on stage, which was a crazy experience. And I was named to Oprah's Super Soul 100 list of, I guess, the biggest thought leaders in America, which was a great honor. And I've won, you know, all sorts of awards and stuff like that. And then I have a book that just came out with Harper One, which is like the spiritual division of HarperCollins. And so it's just like my poetry. And then I travel around the country and the world, at least before the quarantine. And I was doing about 70 shows a year, whether they were like public or corporate or, you know, workshops in community centers or whatever. But I try to get around as much as I can to spread the message of poetry, because I love the art form so much. And I love your brother, by the way, so much. And the Poetry Lounge in general, you know, that was my home. You know, talk about welcome home, you know, that was my home. And so I feel so grateful even now to this day, because I wouldn't be the poet that I am or the writer that I am had I not had the community that I had. And some of the best art experiences I've ever had were watching another poet on stage, your brother included, you know, and just being in the audience, being transported by their humor or their rage or their vulnerability.
I must say again, I love you, because like I know him, so I know it's hurting him to even say what he's done. Like that, in that way, not hurting, but like, it seems like, and that's what makes you so amazing. And I appreciate the fact that we used to do an event called Peace Day, and it was for kids, and we would invite kids from all over the city of Los Angeles. And the thought was that they would come together from different parts of the city, not knowing each other, not knowing each other's experiences, and get to know each other based on who they were and not based on, I heard that in Compton they're like this, or I heard that in the Valley they're like this, but they actually got to meet each other. And something that I appreciate was that whenever I called you, if you were available, you were there. And that's
Your family.
but I mean, but I have a lot of people who call me family, you know what I mean, who weren't there.
They're distant families.
Right,
Especially for a free event that you're going to have to work for.
Exactly.
Or,
They're
you
like,
know,
But let me say one more thing though. But yes, your family. But I knew what you were doing. I mean, what you just said was very meaningful to those kids. Yeah. And so, I mean, there's a saying. It's like you wake up every day and you decide, are you going to save the world or are you going to savor the world? And by the way, that's a privilege to be able to even make that choice. Like it's a privilege to quarantine. There's people who don't know. We were talking about the Westwood Rec Center and them using that space for homeless people. There's people who don't know if they can keep a roof over their heads right now with losing their job and everything like that. But I do think that it's still a decision that we all make on some level, which is like, how are we going to operate in this world, and how do we find the balance between our own enjoyment and of life, and also being there for other people. And so anytime I get an opportunity to try to be of service or support, I mean, I jump at that. And I acknowledge you for always setting up those spaces for not only the community, but for people that you don't know.
Yeah, amen. Amen to that.
appreciate you, really. So tell us about the book.
Yeah, so I have this book. This is the book. It's called Inquire Within. And you see there, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but there's the branches and then there's the roots, and they mirror each other. So if you put it upside down, the roots become the branches and the branches become the roots. And then when you turn it to the side, it's lungs.
Mm.
So the two halves of the book are inhale and exhale. And it's obviously crazy how much that has changed now, but the inhale is the personal poems. This is kind of about my life and my poetic hero's journey, and exhale is about social and political stuff. And really, I think it's change yourself, change the world. And that, what we see on the outside is a mirror often of what's on the inside. And so we have to be careful what we say to ourselves and others.
So where can we get this book?
I mean, you can get it everywhere from Amazon to Barnes and Noble. We worked so hard to get it into independent bookstores, and then literally it came out during the height of the anxiety.
Right.
It was the end of March. So it was right when people were really, really tripping out, and rightfully so.
Were they?
And so, what's that?
I said, were they?
Yeah, exactly. I was too, man. I was like, what the is going on? And I'm still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you can get the audiobook. You can get it anywhere now. You can actually go in stores. I went in a store the other day, a bookstore, and was able to actually see it on the shelf. And it had like a whole corner thing, which was pretty cool. It's nice to see. And the people's, I think, response to the book has been so amazing, from like listening to the audiobook like it's an album over and over again, to like reading the book multiple times, to buying both, and buying a bunch of copies for their friends. And so I think it was a little bit complicated to put it out during that time, and probably we would have reached more people had it not been that particular time that we put it out. But we might have gone wider, but we wouldn't have gone as deep. I think this thing that everybody's going through allowed them to be open to maybe poetry in a way that they wouldn't normally be.
Did you always know songwriting? Like, how did that come about? Because I didn't, I remember when you told me that, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know. Was that just a natural flow from spoken word to music, or did you always know you wanted to do songwriting?
No way. No, I started out rapping when I was a kid, and that's kind of how I showed up at the Poetry Lounge. So I was just doing my rapping a cappella, but that's different than the songwriting that I ended up doing, which is like a lot of pop music, and I wasn't listening to pop music. I felt like a traitor to my rap roots, but I was also desperate. And I had been putting up these poetry shows in LA, you know, at the Greenway Court Theater and other places, and 250 people would show up, and we would always sell out. And we had a guy come named Ross Hogarth, who became a mentor to me at that time in my life. And he's a Grammy-winning producer, and he brought me into this company called Rock Mafia. And Rock Mafia did a lot of these different styles of music that maybe I wasn't listening to, but they were really successful. And I think that they thought maybe the poetry lyricism would bring a certain edge to some of the sessions. And I got lucky. I wrote something that got a placement, and then they gave me a publishing deal, and I just kept at it. But, you know, poetry, for me at least, because the foundation of it is still hip hop, is very rhythmic and choppy. Whereas, as you guys know very well, songwriting is round. You know, it's fluid. There's space and air in there. And, you know, there's so much less that you can fit in. So you have to say things that are simple and yet layered so that people can continue to come back to them over and over again. But you can't make people think too much because it takes them out of the song.
Yeah.
And you want them to be on the ride. So that was something that took me a long time to learn, and I'm still learning it. But I enjoy the learning process.
I have a question. What was your last creative idea? And not necessarily finished, but what was your last creative idea? It could have been today, but like what was?
Yeah, I actually wrote something earlier today. It's not done yet, but I'm doing these like commercials is the only way I can describe them for the election coming up. Because like I've done poems in the past that are like longer poems and they've gone viral, but I feel like people's attention spans, especially now, you know, even on a separate, I wrote this as separate, but I wrote, I don't want to be silent, but I don't want to be a part of the noise. And this is what's happening. There is so much noise right now that you can't hear or see anything. So I said, let me just do really short things that maybe I can combine together if I want to perform them for different events that I'll wind up doing for, you know, just, you know, different Democratic candidates, I guess. Or they can be separate that I can just kind of put out as videos, because I don't want to look back on this and feel like I, you know, didn't do enough. So anyway, I just wrote this. If you don't vote, he is going to win. And if you don't vote for Biden, you are voting for him. I understand you want to stand for what you believe in, but what will you tell your children and your grandchildren? That you could have done more? That you would have done more? That you fought for your principles but lost the bigger war? We have to ask ourselves what we're truly fighting for, because a lot of people aren't sure, but I am sure if you don't vote, he will win. No matter what the polls say, he will fucking win. Because he doesn't have to tell a story that is true, and made up stories are more compelling than the truth. And here's the truth. If you don't vote, he is going to win. And by you, I mean me. And by me, I mean them. We cannot go through 4 more years of this again. November 3rd, it has to end. So tell your friends, if they don't vote, he is going to win. And if they don't vote for Biden, they are voting for him. We will not go through 4 more years of this again. November 3rd, it has to end. Anyway, I finished it like 5 minutes before
That's dope. That's cool, man.
That is.
It's good. You know, drop
Yeah,
it.
so it's not like a transcendent piece or anything like that. It's not a piece that I'll say, oh, I'm so happy that I wrote this from my soul. It just comes from being angry.
Yeah.
And looking around and just being like, you know, trying to say something in the simplest way I can so someone can take that concept and put it in their pocket if they want. To personalize, if you don't vote, he is going to win. That it's your responsibility, you know, that it's my responsibility, you know. So I think different pieces have different aims. I almost never strategize my inspiration because I feel like strategizing my inspiration is one step away from manipulation.
Mm.
And I feel like if I'm manipulating my audience, I'm manipulating myself first. But what I will say is that occasionally I am strategic. Like I do want to get something done for some reason that goes beyond, you know, something that's bouncing around in my head and my heart. And that's like a simple piece that represents that.
So thanks for sharing it.
Yeah.
Dee and I go round and round about writing lyrics. I'll typically just write a line down and then write another line down and then another random line down, and then, you know, the song is formed. And she's like, wait, you have to have a thought of what you're talking about. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know is that I have this feeling and it has music, and eventually the feeling will show me the way, and there you go, you know. And she, you know, shakes her head and walks away typically.
It's amazing that the four of us get songs written. We all come from such different backgrounds and have
But
different
now
thoughts.
you have it. There is no strategy, and you don't have to have strategy.
Well, I know you don't have to have, because you don't. I know that. I learned that a long time ago.
None whatsoever, man. The music takes me where I'm going, you know.
All
Well,
right.
people will say, oh, how do you remain so inspired? You know, and I'm like, if you're not inspired by life, you're not paying attention. That's the only thing, is you pay attention. You pay attention to when you're inspired. You pay attention to when you're moved. You pay attention to when you're pissed off. And you start your art in that place. And then you give it time and space, and it will almost write itself if you get out of the way.
I think that's what, even this group, as I look at this group on the screen, it's like that's what was connecting to you in Q, besides the fact, like, your heart was on your sleeve. You could see that in person. You could see that on the stage. You know what I mean? Like, you could see that what you were writing about, whether it was funny, whether it was a joke, whether it was about the past, the future, whatever, that it meant something to you. And so it was like, wow. And same thing with you guys. When we saw you at Trip, it was just kind of like, whoa, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? You know, it was like, oh, because what you were singing about, it's almost like it doesn't, the actual words that are coming out in the subject matter, it doesn't matter for any of us, but there's a heart behind it. I won't say a thought, because Greg will say, no, there's not. But there's a heart behind it that is bringing out whatever that is. And this is actually a group that is clearly seen, like through your work, through you as people and what you guys post. Like, I don't know you that well from a standpoint of how I know NQ, but just from what you post, it's like heart, you know what I mean? It's heart, which is a great thing and a bad thing, all rolled into one. Sometimes it just depends on, you know, the day of what that is. But
If you wake up crying,
yeah. But I also want to say, NQ, congratulations. I hope that I can say that, but
Yes.
okay. Congratulations.
congratulations.
You got engaged, which is amazing. So happy for you. So happy for her. That's awesome. Is she an artist?
She is. She is an actress, and she is a writer.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So I have a question for you, because he sparked that question of the poem that you read. Is that what you were going to do, or were you going to do something else?
I literally hadn't considered it.
Oh, okay. So then if I ask you to do something else, are you down for that too?
Yeah, sure. You know what I'll do? I'll read the thing that I wrote to Andriana, because it's how I asked her to marry me.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Rock
nice.
on. Yeah, check this out.
All right. So she was brought out into a field. She thought we were going to have dinner with friends or whatever. And then I said, hey, I wrote a poem for you. You know, I turned her around, and she said, okay. And I said, can I read it to you? And she said, before dinner? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, am I going to cry? And I was like, probably. And she goes, before dinner? And I said, yeah, let me just read you this poem.
Oh, that's great.
Every love poem I ever wrote was about you. You are every dream I've ever had, and now they've come true. You are every dream I've never had. Somehow they come true. I gaze into your eyes and know there'll never be a better view. I see heaven in your face. I see children in your smile. I see our future in our present. Will you stay with me a while? Will you dance without the music? Will you laugh without the jokes? Will you cry without a reason? Will you play with all the notes? I've come to love you in a way that is impossible to quote. Forever and a day is not enough. Forever is a joke. Any moment we're together is forever, now or never. Whether I am in your presence or too far away to measure, I accept you in the pain. I accept you in the pleasure. I'll be your shelter through the rains. You can shine in any weather. Every love poem I wrote was an invisible letter, reaching out beyond my time and space to what I would discover, from a place that was unknown to a home inside each other. I am floating on a cloud. I am singing in the gutter. Our relationship is sailing and we do not need a rudder. I don't care where we go from here if here is with each other. Your soul is like a mirror. You're a goddess and a lover. You're a sister and a brother. You're a father and a mother. You're a son and you're a daughter. You're a stranger and a friend. Even when I end, our love's not something I can transcend. You're more than just a perfect 10. Your beauty lies behind your skin. It's the way you taste, reminding me of everywhere I've been. It's the way you smell, reminding me of everyone I've been. Your sweetness overwhelms me. Can we end where we begin? I'll only come back to write our stories intertwined again. You're the greatest poem I've ever read. You make me find my pen. You're the greatest poem I've ever read, the wisdom from within. You inspire me. It'll take me lifetimes to comprehend. You're my who, what, where, and when. You're my why I even try. I vow to have you and to hold you till the day I say goodbye. I vow for better or for worse, as long as you are by my side. I vow to cherish you in sickness and in health until I die. On our first date, you asked me why I hadn't settled down. I refused to give an answer, but I have your answer now. I was always waiting for you. You're the reason that you asked. My words have never done you justice, but I search for them at last. I've asked myself 1,000 questions about who I want to be. I've asked myself 1,000 questions to reflect on you and me. I've asked myself 1,000 questions, but our love's what set them free. There's only one question left. So I'll ask it on one knee. And this is where I got down, just to keep you in real time.
I think we were all there.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I promise I'll do right by you, morning, noon, and night by you. I promise I'll be nice to you even when I fight with you. I promise I will fight for you. I'd even give my life for you. I promise I will write for you. My art is now my life for you. My heart is yours, so on your darkest day, I'll be the light for you. And when you're out past midnight, I promise I'll leave a light for you to guide you home into my open arms, if that's all right. They say that love is blind, but you're the one that made me see. I've asked myself 1,000 questions that have brought you here to me. I've asked myself 1,000 questions, but your love's what set them free. There's only one question left. Will you marry me?
Aww.
Nice, man.
And
Set
she
the
was
bar pretty high there,
Yes.
man.
And by that time, she was bawling,
Yeah.
and the whole crying question was like, woo!
She was crying, and I had also hired a photographer to take pictures from the bushes. So she
I'm
was
sure
like,
an actress appreciated that.
you know, and then this dude named Tristan popped out of the bushes. It was pretty hilarious. And then we had this picnic that had been set up like a little bit down the way, and we went and were able to kind of like celebrate together. I'll tell you one more thing, and then I'll shut up. I definitely wanted to ask her. I'd been planning to ask her. We designed the ring, the whole thing. But I also felt like I wanted to do it now because this year has been so insane.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to look back and only have traumatic memories. I wanted to somehow change the narrative so that we had something to look back on where we went, yeah, that feels great. And that was a celebration of love, even in the midst of all of the pain and suffering that's out there. So for anybody who is listening to this, I would challenge you in a positive way to try to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Just for yourself and the people around you in some way. Do something that allows you to have a memory of this year that leaves you feeling hopeful.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that really is.
Yeah, don't let
She's like,
don't let 2020 win. Gotta punch back. Punch back.
I like that. So tell her we said congratulations.
Thank you, I will.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, and we will shift gears a little bit to the two of you. So tell us a little bit about you, and then I'm going kind of to Angelo.
Well, okay, my name's Trevor Tunison, and this is Nina Nelson. And I would say InQ's poem has really inspired me to make a move. But we've been together for a long time now, and
Yeah, almost 8 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I know that we're gonna be together forever. So it's like, do I need to ask her to marry me? I mean, it's so solid in my heart. But
Look at
it
Angelo's
seems
face.
yes. But anyway, yeah, that was inspiring. InQ, thank you.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, so our story is we started a band in New York City and realized that city life wasn't for us. And we wanted to get out of the city and share our music with the world. And Nina had the crazy idea to, which I guess it wasn't very crazy, it was very smart, to buy a Sprinter van. And so we flew down to Florida. We bought this Sprinter van, a 15-passenger, and we toured the first year in there with like sleeping bags and
A little bed frame.
and a bed frame, like a DIY bed frame. And we eventually like built it out, and now we've been touring the last 2 years, almost full time, playing shows everywhere, living in our Sprinter van, and just living our dream. And it's incredible. And I have to give all the credit to Nina, honestly, because if it wasn't for her buying that Sprinter van, like inspiring us to leave the city, I think I'd still be there grinding at the restaurant job that I hated so much, you know, and not living the sweet life I am now.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Nice.
So we had never done any construction projects before. We just watched a bunch of YouTube videos about how to convert a Sprinter van, and luckily we had a friend in Washington State who had every woodworking power tool you could imagine in a huge shop on his property. So we basically just parked on his property for a couple of months and renovated the van. And we've been touring in our Sprinter van up until everything came to a screeching halt this year.
Yeah, we had a whole tour, a whole like spring, summer, fall tour that was
44 shows that just
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep. But it was kind of on the flip side, like InQ was saying, like change the
narrative.
The narrative, yeah.
Yeah, find the silver lining
It was
somewhere, right?
it was a blessing in disguise because we had all this extra time to really focus on a full-length album. And so we spent all of our free time, I guess,
Free time.
uh,
Quarantine time.
recording this new full-length album that I think turned out to be the best album I've written yet. So
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
it was a positive thing for us in that sense.
Yeah, and now we have that to look forward to with the release of that, which is actually this Friday. We're dropping the first single, which is called
Awesome.
"Say Hello,"
Awesome.
which is the song that we'll play for you now, if you
Nice, nice.
And then 2 weeks later, after that, is the
Title track.
We're dropping that, and then October 9th is when we digitally release the whole record on all streaming platforms. It's also my birthday, October 9th.
Oh,
Mm.
Little birthday
nice,
present.
Well,
nice.
early happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and Trevor's birthday is also in October. We're both
October
October
22nd.
babies. So.
Yeah, we're Libra.
That's that's my mama's birthday.
Poetry's
22nd?
birthday, my brother is the 27th.
That's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Sweet.
So
Libras, boy.
Yeah, Angelo, did you have any questions, I guess?
I mean, I wanted to just say how, when we met, I had never seen a group after they finish, and you had a tribe of people there, and after they finished, like, everyone just created this hug circle, and I had no option but to go over there and join it. You know what I mean? So it was just literally like one of your songs, like it was magical, you know what I mean? And you guys literally pour out your hearts when you sing, you know, and that just literally like springs out like rays of sunshine. So it's really awesome. And I've always just wanted you to participate with us when we do things, if we could, you know, and just wanted to give you kudos on your success and the building your home there. Like that's no small feat. And I know it had like ups and downs, you know, and I think it's a tribute to when you make an album too. Like there's these roller coaster dips, you know what I mean? So what have you found to be challenging in doing this new album as opposed to other albums?
Good
That's a
question.
good question.
I bring that heat.
Huh. I kind of struggle to answer that question. I feel like this album just kind of flowed like so nicely.
Nice.
Awesome.
We were in Arizona. We were staying in Nina's parents' house. We were kind of house sitting it before they moved into it because they retired from Washington.
Okay.
They're both school teachers.
Yeah, so I mean, we converted the closet into a little recording studio, and we got a dog, a little puppy, while we were in quarantine. I mean,
Can I interject? The tough thing for me was accepting that all 44 shows got canceled. So the mourning the loss of the future that we thought we would be looking forward to was like really hard for me, and I know that's just something that a lot of people went through during that time. So also the collective mourning the loss of the future that you thought was going to be a certain way that definitely wasn't going to turn out that way anymore. That was the hard part, I think.
Yeah.
That didn't necessarily have to do with like the recording process of the album itself, but it definitely put some of that heart and soul into the album because that's what we were experiencing whilst we were recording. And I would, since I didn't have shows to book anymore, because that up to that point was what I was focused all my time on, booking. And once I couldn't do that anymore, I was like, well, now what do I do? You know? Like, other than writing and recording this album, like, what's my purpose here? And so after like a few weeks of existential, like, now what do? We have to pivot some direction, you know? We adopted a puppy so that I would have something joyful in my life to focus on. So that was really fun. She's actually sleeping behind us right now. Lift this up so you can see she's on the.
Aww.
She's curled up. Her name is Barracuda.
Barracuda.
Pets make a difference, man.
Makes a huge difference having a puppy around.
Oh yeah, she just
Constant
so much
joy.
into
And
our
I'm a little jelly. I just shaved today, and I had a 2-week beard going on, and you guys are rocking yours. Everybody's rocking it. Angela's got his. Yeah, I know. And I keep doing this, and there's nothing there, and I'm like going, why did I shave today?
I think it looks good. It looks clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
had
trimmed up
shaving.
my cheeks, and Nina was just like, "Oh, I can feel some smooth cheeks."
Yeah, I was gonna clean up a little bit, and I'm like, let me just shave. It's still hot out, and, but now I just feel like that. I regret that. Stop it! It keeps killing me, man. Now, Trevor, you're really.
I really can't stop it. It just
I
feels so good. I'm sorry that you're.
I mean, quarantine created some serious styles. Some serious styles. Just leave it right there. What is your? I know it's late for you guys, but what is your creative process? It probably varies, but like, does it start with a guitar lick? Do you
A
just
lot
have
of
an
them
idea?
do. A lot of them do start with a guitar lick, or the hook, the like
Mhm.
catchiest part, and then we build the song around it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Mostly, it's for me. It's melody and like little riffs. The lyrics are like very far down the road for me.
I
The
got
thing that really inspires me is making harmonies and melodies and creating the music first.
mhm.
So that's kind of how every song works. Sometimes the lyrics are there right from the beginning, but usually it's melodies and a lot of like weird consonant vowel sounds, like
Even Greg would go
Gibberish
together well.
Yeah, this is a
Right.
guitarist thing, right, Trevor? It's a guitarist thing. You play, and we're working on an EP right now, and a song called Fences. And I wrote Fences 2 is what we're working on. I wrote Fences 1 as a song, and I was like, okay, I'll probably release that. And then Fences 2 came around, where Fences 1 was a ballad, but I wanted it to be a little bit more, like just in your face and rocking, because we've been writing a lot of slower stuff lately. And so I came up with this riff, like you guys are talking about, and I went, oh, I loved it. I put it all together, and then I sent it to the band and said, we got to write to this, and they loved it. And I just got the lyrics back today. Thank you, Ashlyn.
You're welcome.
And with the piano piece, and I was like, I didn't even get to the piano piece. I just read the lyrics, and I was like, I absolutely love this. You know what I mean? And now I'm picturing it into the music that I've already created. You know what I mean? So
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Beautiful process.
yeah.
So without further ado, let's hear some magic.
All right, sweet.
Sweet, yeah, we can play this tune for you. I just realized that our computer's got 14%, so
Yeah, and the charger is like outside in the van.
after we play this, one of us is gonna have to run out and
Yeah, all
grab the
right.
charger.
All right. You'll
But,
have to hold down the fort.
Yeah, so this song started off with the riff and the whistling part, which is like part of the chorus, and also the chorus, which was Say Hello. So we had that little part for the longest time and weren't really quite sure where we wanted to go with the song until finally we had this, pandemic quarantine time to really focus on it. And,
Yeah, and hone in on what kind of message we wanted to send
Yeah.
out into the world. So.
and so this song is sort of like the message of our whole new album that's coming out, which is basically there's this, in my opinion, I know that we're in the midst of this like terrible time in many people's perception, but in my opinion, we're in the beginning of a mass awakening and a global rise of the energy and the vibrational kind of frequency of humanity as we know it.
Mhm.
And this is just kind of like the earth shaking out, the people, shaking out all the bad stuff so we can.
I mean, it's like what
evolve.
NQ said about how on the flip side of trauma is growth, and we can't afford to fall back asleep.
Yeah.
So this is our song saying, all right, everybody, say hello to this new energy that's bubbling up, and greet it with love, and let's all open our hearts and move forward here. So That's what this song is about.
Cool.
Sweet. All right. Well, we haven't played it in a while,
I know,
so
since we recorded it.
we'll see.
We recorded
we'll see
it,
how
and it
this
was like,
goes.
great, we can't play any live shows, so.
Yeah. Next song.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Say hello, everybody. There's an energy flow that spirals through every single moment. You could surf it like a big wave. Do you want to wake up early to catch the sun on the horizon? Greet the brand new day and say hello. Say hello. Say hello. We're gonna open up wide like a flower rising up from the seedling. Stretch our petals across the sky. My. Love's been waiting outside of our hearts like a stranger at the front door. We should ask her to come inside and say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Hey, my, take a look at the sky, see the love in all creation. Catch that wave, make each day fill you with inspiration. Hey, my, take a look at the sky, see the love in all creation. Catch that wave and make each day fill you with inspiration. Hey, na 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 na. Say hello. Na 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 na. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Hello. Say hello, 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 hello.
Woo!
No, you can't stop.
Hey.
Yeah, baby.
No.
Let me just tell you, whistling ain't easy live.
That's a forever song, man.
That is
Love
rocking.
it.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah, that was
You
rocking.
couldn't see
man.
what I was playing, but I had a shaker and a tambourine in my.
Going
You
out.
were wondering, where is that percussion coming from?
Yeah.
I know you guys. I know.
I always love you guys' harmonies too, man. You guys' harmonies. rock.
Yeah.
Your connection and harmonies.
I was really nervous to sing in front of InQ. I have to be
No,
honest.
that was beautiful. No, it was really, really beautiful. I love it. It's catchy. It was
Thanks.
meaningful, and it made me feel good. So I think you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish.
Awesome.
Like,
Sweet. Thank
That's the
you.
main goal, I think, with our
Yeah.
music is we kind of want to just get that vibration and have everybody just feeling good.
Mhm.
yeah, I feel higher.
Right on.
If you're whistling, you're feeling good. You know what I mean?
Each one of these squares was rocking.
Because when we play live, just the two of us, there's no like lead instrumentalist because Trevor's playing the rhythm guitar and I'm playing shaker and tambourine. So when we play like 3-hour gigs, it's kind of nice to take like a solo, breaks to rest your voice, and we whistle to do that. And people love it. And so we've kind of gotten a lot of feedback over the years of touring, like, man, you guys can whistle really well. You should incorporate that more in your music that you're writing. So on this upcoming album, we've got quite a bit of whistling, more than the albums in the past.
That's not easy.
It's not easy to do live too. I mean,
Not easy.
Especially in the desert when your lips get dry. Then it's
that's what I'm saying. You're going to get water right away, you know?
I know, right? Like, okay.
I think I learned to whistle more efficiently before I learned how to sing. I'm still working on learning how to sing, but I think whistling comes to me more naturally than singing.
You are a really good whistler.
Aw.
Sweetness comes out.
Awesome.
Sweetness and kindness. It's always good.
You said it's dropping on Friday?
Yeah, so it'll be out on all streaming platforms on Friday, and Friday is also the day that we open up the pre-order for the vinyl
Ooh, yeah.
of the album.
Oh.
And there's only going to be 300 copies of that available. So once they're sold out, they're sold out.
Mhm. And it's a cool vinyl. It's not just like a typical black vinyl or solid color. It has a splatter.
Mhm.
Oh,
Black.
nice.
It's gonna be a double LP. So
Actually.
each record's gonna be different colors.
Nice.
Why don't you just save one for me? Just put one away for me.
I can
save one for you.
Just go ahead and do that right now.
It builds the scarcity, Angelo.
They want
That's two. Put two away.
Can you tell us, and Inky, you have to do this as well. Tell us like website information, social media information. How can people find you guys? How can they get in touch? How can they, how can they get you?
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
yeah, the easiest way to find us is just Google Fort Vine, and everything should come up. We're basically, everything's like at Fort Vine.
Yeah, so on Instagram, on Facebook, on streaming platforms, it's Fort Vine. So at Fort Vine is our handle there. Our website is fortvine.com. That's where the vinyl is available for pre-order starting on Friday morning at 11 o'clock.
Say that one more time.
Fortvine.com.
Boom.
And what's available and when?
Our vinyl record of Primordial Mirror of Cosmic Reflection. That's
Oh,
the
wow.
title of our album.
Woo! All right.
It's supposed to, I actually read it in this book. That was pretty cool. I wish I could remember it off the top of my head, but I can't. But it's basically like a non-religion book about, discovering the truth of reality, essentially. That's the best way I could put it.
Mindfulness.
But the author refers to the spirit as the primordial mirror of cosmic reflection, which really resounded with me. And you just kind of like, when you get to that place of stillness and quiet, where you're just observing the present moment, you kind of are just a reflection of everything that you see and experience. You are the primordial mirror. So felt really inspired by that, and that's where the album title comes from.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
All right, Inky, where can we
My
get the
stuff
book?
is really, really easy as well. The book is called Inquire Within, and you can get it anywhere you want. And you can also go to my website, which is in-q.com, inq.com. And that'll have all the stuff that I got going on there. And then on Instagram or social media, it's just at INQLife. And hopefully I see all of you guys in person, and everybody that's out there. I hope to see you guys at a show soon. I hope we can all celebrate in person together. That would be really awesome.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much. You guys were phenomenal.
Everybody, thank you.
Thank you guys.
yes.
I love you both.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Make it happen. All right.
Stay safe, and we will see you later.
Peace, guys. Peace. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Have a good
Yeah.
night, everybody.
Take care, you guys.
Bye-bye.